Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about the Eisenhower Matrix, sometimes called the Important Urgent Matrix. This is a tool we can use to prioritize what we're going to be working on. So join me now and we'll take a quick look at this matrix. How do you make it simple to decide what you should be working on at any particular time? This is an age-old question, isn't it? President Eisenhower, he came up with a very simple method to help him with this. What he did is he asked himself two simple questions. Is it important? Is it urgent? And he plotted that into a 2x2 grid. And that let him focus on achieving the important things and in a timely manner. What I'd like you to do now, a little exercise for you. Spend a couple of minutes and just jot down everything you should be working on at the moment. All those little thoughts, those little ideas, even the big tasks. Mark it all down on a piece of paper. We'll come back to that later on in the video. We've now got our list of tasks. What we're going to be doing, like President Eisenhower did, we're going to be asking now two questions. Is it important? And is it urgent? Part 2 of our exercise, I want you to go back to that bit of paper and against each entry, mark on there if it's important or if it's urgent. So you've now got that classified list. Against each item there should be a statement to say if it's important or urgent. We now plot these into a 2x2 grid. On the left axis we've got at the top important and then below that not important. Going along the top we've got urgent and then not urgent. What we're going to do is we're going to plot each of our items into here. Some examples. You've got a sales proposal that you need for a meeting with a client next week. That's important. And because it's next week, it's urgent. So it goes into the important and urgent quadrant. You've got another task, which is to write a sales report for next month's team meeting. That sales report, yes, that's important, but it's not until next month. It's not urgent. So that will then go into important and not urgent. Another task, this is a personal one. You need to renew your fishing license and it expires next week. We've now got to ask ourselves, well, is that fishing license important? It's not going to move you in your life. Yes, it's nice as a bit of relaxation, but it's not going to actually move you forward. So in that respect, it's not important. But because it expires next week, it's urgent. So it goes into not important and urgent. Our final example, you want to check Facebook. You like checking your Facebook, seeing what your family and friends are up to. But that's not important and it's not urgent. So it goes into that quadrant. We've now got our quadrant built. One of the things I'm going to comment on here is very rarely does importance change. So if something's important, it generally stays important. Now, yes, occasionally something does come up which may change its importance, but generally importance doesn't change. Urgency though, well, that will change. So if you've got something for next month, it's not really urgent at the moment, but as soon as it goes to be next week, its urgency does change. So on a daily basis, you should be looking at what's in each of your quadrants and asking, have any of these changed? What I'd like you to do now is take that list that we've got, the one that's saying if something's important or urgent, and I'd like you to plot each of those into that 2x2 grid. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. We've now got our grid ready to go. I give each of these quadrants a theme. The important and the urgent. That's do now. Get on with it. Don't wait around. The important and not urgent. That's do soon. They're the ones you would do as soon as all those important and urgent tasks are finished. If it's not important but still urgent, I call that the Delegate Zone. These are things where if you can, delegate them to other people. If you can't delegate, then try and spend a little bit of time just knocking off these. Get rid of the urgent ones if you can. But it should only be a small amount of time. If you're working an 8-hour day, you might try and spend 30 minutes doing this. You should always be focusing on doing the important stuff first. And then if something's not important and not urgent, well, I call that discard or do whenever. If you can, just get rid of it. Don't even worry about it. Get it off your list. Because if it's not important and not urgent, is it going to help you move forward? Now, some of the things in there, they may still be useful to do. check Facebook. Checking Facebook can be a nice thing to do on an evening, lets you catch up with family and friends. But it's not important to do it. If you don't do it one day, it's not going to kill anyone. It's not urgent to do it. You can do it whenever you want. So if you've got 10 minutes of free time, that's when you could slot that one in. With all these, those tasks that are important, always do them first. And I find that importance very rarely changes. With the urgency, this is something you need to keep an eye on and try and check your tasks each day, because urgency can often change. So if you've got a sales report to be prepared for next month, that's fine, it's not urgent. But if the meeting's next week, then it changes and it becomes an urgent item. Using this matrix, it lets you focus your time on what you need to do. You focus on the important and the urgent things. You then focus on the rest of the important things. Only then do you go and look at the non-important stuff. Importance should always trump urgency. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I find this tool really useful, and it's something every day I'm thinking about. My task management system I classify by importance and urgency. And every day I spend a little bit of time to look through the non-urgent tasks, just in case some of them are now urgent, so I can move them around. What are your thoughts on the Eisenhower system? Do you use it? Do you unknowingly use it? Please drop a comment down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.